Hey folks, what's happening? Specs out there as far as healers go. They're a really aggressive healer with some awesome abilities like Avenging Crusader, Hammer of Justice, addition to Blessing of Sacrifice and Blessing of Protection. They bring a bunch of utility to the battle and really complement melee fights quite well. Alright, stay tuned and let's check it out. Off, focusing on Crusader's Might right off the bat, that reduces the cooldown of Holy Shock and Light of Dawn by 1.5 seconds each. Really allows you to use them and get crits more often, which lead to faster Holy Lights, and that is paramount when it comes to Holy Pals. Rule of Law is the best choice. For the next level, it actually allows your Holy Pal to stay a further distance away. Once Avenging Crusader is down or done on cooldown, it also is the best option right now due to the removal of Beacon of the Lightbringer from Legion, which put your mastery on your target of Beacon. Next up, one of my favorite talents is, well, they're all situational here. Fist of Justice is the easy go-to. That really just reduces your cooldown on Hand of Justice. Depending on how much holy power you're spending, we're a pretty high damage class in terms of complementing our offense. This is a really good key. Additionally, Blinding Light, you really want to use that for comps that are going to be a little bit more distance based, like Fire Mages, Feral Druids, other Holy Pals, since it's good on the cost control standpoint, and it doesn't have those diminishing returns. But if you aren't afraid of diminishing returns, Repentance is a great way to go, and if you really want to help CC the other team's healer, great way to roll. But if you're going up with a mage, it's actually just going to start to count towards the diminishing returns of their polymorph. So if you're with a mage, go with the Fist of Justice. If you are going to complement the CCing of the healer, go with Tier 4 is all about Devotion Aura. Next up, Holy Avenger. It's the best talent of this level. It really allows the Holy Paladin to cast faster, which really makes a big difference with interrupts. So we're so key when it comes to close quarter combat. It also makes Holy Shock cast more often, and that's going to drop. The 6th tier, you've got a pair of options here. Avenging Crusader is the best talent for the majority of the time, just due to the offensive pressure and defensive healing it provides. It really complements your efforts really good when you're looking to burn someone down or scramble to keep a couple players alive. Alternatively, if you want to go a Sacrifice Wrath, that's to be played when you're fighting a spell cleave group, such as a Mage Shadow Priest combo, or when you're running in the middle of the map, isn't really going to be effective for you. It's a talent that you want to use when you don't feel it'll be beneficial to have your melee wings rolling. So think about it. Are you going to be able to bring a lot of complement to the story here? Finally, Tier 7. Divine Purpose is very beneficial for mana usage, and it also gives you an extra healing due to the cooldown of Holy Shock being completely reset. Kind of a carryover spec. This isn't exactly how it was built in Legion, but still a ton of fun there. Alternatively, you've got the Beacon of Faith. It can be good against AoE teams or teams looking to hit you with some more rot. It can also be chosen in circumstances when you feel that your mana is going to be affected by spread pressure, so keep that in mind. As far as recommended PvP talents, I almost always love Glad Medallion. The only reason you see Relentless spec here, this pal is a human, so trying to be smart, or as smart as possible, we're trying to just really benefit on the everyman for himself racial, and Relentless is a good way to Tier 2, I really like Blessed Hand. It's taken almost 100% of the time, and that's because it provides 2 stacks of Blessing of Protection and Blessing of Freedom, which are super important. Really helps your Holy Paladin survive if you're being focused on, which is going to be likely. Or alternatively, you can drop your bops and your freedom blessings on different players. In 8.1, we did see that actually in 8.1, the spell was changed to no longer include an extra charge of Blessing of Sacrifice. It's still the go-to choice for fighting everything except for next PvP talent I really like. I enjoy Light's Grace. It provides a healing bonus from the talent by itself, but it's also extremely strong and allows your Holy Pal to do a bunch of healing with just a few Holy Lights. So it's an easy go-to. Additionally, I like the Blessing of Sacrifice. It's used almost 100% of the time, provides survivability, and can also be used to deter CCs if you see a poly or a freezing trap coming at you. For me, I also like to incorporate Hollow Ground. Because I'm usually stacked up with the melee comp that I'm with, you just drop a concentration, which it has a continuous uptime. Your cooldown is done before your concentration runs out. That is a really easy way to identify it here. Clear any of the snare effects on allies within an area. So really kind of complements the Blessing of Freedom. That's something to definitely keep an eye open on. Holy Paladin strengths are really summarized really quick. They've got a great stretch of cooldowns. You've got Blessed Hands, that is a really easy talent to take advantage of, giving you that Blessing of Protection, Blessing of Freedom, and they also last much longer than they would on their own. Holy Paladin also is in really good shape with Holy Avenger. Additionally, we've got Divine Protection or Divine Shield on our side. Both are great go-tos. And then offensively, we bring a ton of damage as far as being an offensive healer goes. It's really just around what we're looking to achieve with our Avenging Crusader. Really brings us up, makes us be up in the face of our opponent, but you combine this with your Fist of Justice, and you're able to actually stun your opposing enemies really quick. Because we are up at the, we'll call it line of scrimmage where we're battling there is issues though dealing with interrupts. So you're going to be faced by a ton. Being smart with how you juke is fundamental. Finally, mana control. If you are planning on being in arena for a longer stretch of time, you are going to see a pretty significant mana consumption. Just keep this in mind. Make sure you're smart with who you have your beacon of light on, and have yourself set up well to swap beacons if you find that the opposite. For Holy Paladin stat priority, you want to go with Intellect. Then the best secondary stat we can ask for is actually Critical Strike. So you'll see us push that all the time. After that, we're talking Haste, more Mastery, some Versatility lastly. Int's the best stat you can ask for. Critical Strike, we mentioned, is the strongest secondary stat due to its increasing your chance of infusion of light procs. So once you're clear with that, if the new gear you just picked up isn't going to change one way or the other, definitely focus on Haste because it just helps with our global cooldown. It's almost a Holy Paladins have a great ability to play aggressively with their teammates, so typically you see them paired up with melee. If you're in a 2v2 world, really take advantage of the Blessing of Protection, Hammer of Justice, or Repentance utilities. It really kind of makes a major difference maker on how you can complement the different builds. Specifically, I really like Holy Pal with an Arms Warrior. Alternatively, Feral Druid, if you're smart with how you set up your bop, is a great combo. Shadow Priest, Havoc Demon Hunter, Destro Warlock. In fact, one that doesn't get identified enough, I really like Fury Warrior. Their mobility, I know the rotation is basic, guys, but the mobility and the little bit of burst that they bring, I think, locks up really, really well, especially when you combine that with a good Hammer of Justice. For 3v3, there's a couple straightforward compositions that exist out there. Go with Jungle, so Feral Druid, Marksmanship Hunter, and Holy Pal. WMP, so Arms Warrior, Frost Mage, or Holy Pal. Holy Paladin, Arms Warrior, and Demon Hunter, or RMP, so Rogue, go with an Assassination Rogue, an Arcane Mage, or a Holy Paladin. Now that's not as popular. Frost and Fire are still eating up the charts. Yeah, the Greater Pyro on the Fire side is a major popular spec, but really Holy Pals can play with pretty much anyone. The only real competing spec I'd say out there right now has to be Resto Druid, but I would actually describe Resto as a tier higher in complexity for what you are really trying to master there. So keep that in mind when you're trying to decide who you're going to focus on next for a talent build. Alright folks, that's it. I hope you had as much fun checking this out and learning about the Holy Pal as I did making it. Drop it down in the comments. Tell me what you liked, what you didn't like, what you would like to see me do better. I appreciate all your feedback. Definitely read it all. And if you've got some questions, just leave it in the comments. Vote up if you liked it. Thumbs down if you didn't. Thanks again for watching. See ya.